Hey guys, it's Adrian here. We are back. So we're back from Orlando. Loved meeting a bunch of great people at the Money Show in Orlando, Florida. Kim always puts on a great event. The folks at the Money Show are fantastic. Saw just about everybody there. Not Charlie this time. He's off getting married. But it was a really nice event, and again, some really nice people, and we always enjoy meeting everybody there. So you're here, and that's great. You signed up to be part of the live streams, and for those of you who have always been part of the live streams, there's a lot of you, so you're watching now, and we're back from a little bit of a hiatus. Had a couple things going on that had to be taken care of, sort of health-wise, but everything is back and better than ever. So this morning, we've been looking at a market that is sort of mixed, trying to rally, can't really figure the whole thing out, sideways right now, which is fine because that makes for some good trading opportunities. There were 11 points of opportunity in the first hour this morning. So if you were in the trading room with us, if you were trading those Baltimore chops, those two SD opening gaps, we talked about those in the show, or at the show in the session about the 1 hour trading. You guys who were at the show comped you a course, and I hope you've received the email for that. If you haven't received the email, give us a call or send us an email, and we'll make sure that we resend the email to you. A few of you have completed it already and give me some feedback, which is all I asked, and that's fantastic. I really appreciate it. But let's get back to this morning's trading. So let's get on to what everybody wants to talk about. Here is where the opportunity was. We had two SD opening gaps. Those were nice fades if you played the 1, 2, 3 setups. The 1, 2, 3 setups, or the classic setup, was the easy one to get in front of this morning. And you really had to look for the ones that formed sort of a pointy spot on the chart. You wanted to make sure that you weren't getting into something that was sort of flattening out at the bottom or flattening out at the top. You wanted to see something that had a nice orderly kind of a pullback in either direction, and that gave us then an opportunity for an entry. And all in all, every single one of those this morning wound up being profitable. So that was great. Then we had our trading plan trades and the Magnificent Seven stuff setting up. So the Magnificent Seven trades and the QQQ trades have been a little bit earlier today than they have been in the past. Let me see if I can get the charts up here for you. Looks like it's going to take a second, but I will be right back with some charts. And hopefully these guys are going to pop back up for us. Yep, there they are. Okay, so little casting issue there, but that's not a surprise. Been away for a while. You see it here. This is the triple Q, and so far today, this has been primarily a sort of a flattish market. Gapped up first thing in the morning, so we had this move higher, and then we were trading sort of in the box. And my anticipation from what it had been doing, earlier in the session was that, we probably get some opportunities back up in that range again, but that we would come down and test the pivot. Testing that pivot line right now. So, we're down here at the central pivot, moving back up again for, that 490.48 line right there. That looks like an interesting inflection, or 480.46 rather, up to 490.46 up to 490.92. The marbles out of my mouth. And then the 490.92 level up to 491.70. So I'm looking at those once again on the futures side. I don't really trade the triple Q. That's a function of the leverage that's going to be offered on your NQ versus the amount of cash you have to put out. So it's $490,000 to trade the equivalent number of QQQs, as you can trade for about $2,000 in the future side of the market. So let's take a look at the Mag 7 stocks and where we are here. So these are pretty interesting today in terms of they're setting up the same kind of a thing that they normally do a little bit later in the session. And, right now we're just early in the day. And it is not frequently the case that we see this much activity this early. So right now, I am looking at Apple from 229.02 and looking for a move back up into these bands. So 229.02 already triggered, so that was kind of setting up while I was getting ready to do this broadcast. 290 or 229.02 up to 229.67. Right here, the area that it's in right now happens to be a volume by price overlap. So we're going to expect that that bar right there that I've covered up with a red line now, that thing's going to give it a little bit of pause, and then once it gets up above there, we should see that become support, because that's been on our cluster analysis. That's a real significant kind of a spot. On Meta, I'm looking at the downtrend on this one. So Meta is moving lower in the session, and you don't want to try to fight the trend because you see it coming into some kind of a level. So the level that we're at here at 561.46, that was a nice inflection because that was support from previous sessions. That gave you a nice move up about $2 per share if you had the guts to take it. If you're looking at this more as, you know, what's it going to do over the course of the day, I would say that that move right there is probably the one. If we go and set this up with a fib ratio, right, this one is going to say to us, yep, that's going to be a retracement up into 566.02, is also going to be the 618 retracement. So, you know, if you can eyeball those, that's great. I prefer to just sort of eyeball them, but if you have to draw them, just go ahead and draw them, and then you know, you want to see where they overlap. So someone at the Money Show had asked about how many indicators do you want to splay all over your charts, and my answer was not many, and that is true every single day. What I like to do, just get in, take a look at where the market is in terms of trend, and then also take a look at, you know, where we are vis-a-vis the VWAP of a recent move. So if you look here, you know, you can see that we've got up in the range on Meta, up 565.94, so that's where the anchored VWAP is going to be. So that tells us, you know, that's probably a really good place to look for that inflection and a move back down to the short side of the market. Tesla. So Tesla, we've got this move higher, which happens then to set up at 250.30. We've got a really good overlap between our fib retracement. Boy, it's like magic, isn't it? We talked about that at the show too. Between the fib retracement and that anchored VWAP, and then also our volume by price histogram. So those of you who we met, who are already signed up for boot camp and everything, all this confluence is sort of the core of how you're going to build on your trading business. This is where you're picking up and trying to, you know, trying to figure out, do I have a logical reason to take a trade? If I have a logical reason to take the trade, then I'm going to go ahead and do it. And if not, you're going to pass. And you're just going to keep focusing on what is instead of what you would like to see. On Amazon, we've got a 185.51 retracement. That's going to be a 382 pullback. And, you know, down at the 50% would be this 185.25 level. That also shows some support. And then if we go and we give ourselves our anchored VWAP again, like I said, this is a really good indicator over the course of the session of trend strength and the reason for a move. So if you know the reason, then, you know, you can go through and just sort of start trying to figure out where you want to place your trades and how you want to focus your energy. Microsoft, I'm not super nuts about here today, just because of the loose consolidation that we have in here. So, you know, as far as this guy goes, you know, right now I'm going to say Microsoft's sort of not on my list of, you know, most favorite trading status. And then if you look at Google, Google's doing exactly what we'd like to see something do. So it's up into the range, it's up above the anchored VWAP. It's trading from 163.98 up to 164.46. And if you look out on the right side of the chart here, you can see that that's where the lion's share of the important volume today has gone off. So that's a good looking setup, and I think that you know, I'm going to focus on that the rest of the day. It looks like it's kind of getting away from us a little bit now, but that's all right. We'll see if it comes back. And then finally, our old favorite NVIDIA is up to a couple of tricks here that aren't so great. Bottom of this box is loose. So, you know, until we see something tightening up down here. I'm definitely not looking at the long side on this. What I am looking for is short opportunities from right around that pivot line. The only problem with it is, as you will recall, you don't want to go back to the well too many times. So we are already coming up on our third test here of that line. And, once we get into, 1, 2, and 3 tests of a range, then I like to, I kind of like to give things a break and see if we can catch it again on the flip side. But those are the setups that I see as, sort of the most likely places that price is going to go. And over the course of the day, I think that that's going to make for some decent trading. So that is, I'm trying to see here, yeah, that's probably about everything that that I think I'm going to focus on for the rest of the day. All right, so that is going to do it. Yes. Okay, so I'm a little off beat here because I'm trying to catch up with a bunch of things, just so jet lagged, right? But it's all good. We had a 12-hour trip back, got delayed and got pushed into a couple of layovers, or one layover in particular that wound up being pretty long, but direct flights to Orlando were not to be had, and direct flights round trip were not to be had when we started this whole thing. So we're just happy to be home, happy to have met everybody. Again, if you have questions, send them to me, adrian@traderinsight.com. You can also text me. Most of you took my business card, 310-804-2248, and I will be happy to answer any questions that you might have. All right, so I'm going to see everybody back here tomorrow. And, good trading. Get in the room, and let's focus on finding some more opportunities for the afternoon. I'll see everybody.